It's a point-blank look at Spokane's homeless problem, and 4 times a week, Joseph Heister is picking up the stuff that even transients don't want anymore.
It builds up really fast. We've cleaned it up and seen it completely trashed in 24 hours.
Heister is part of an all-volunteer inmate cleanup crew from Geiger Corrections. It's a dirty job, but these gentlemen do it for free.
We're not sitting idle in the cell. The other thing is we get a little extra food and, we get a little bit of praise.
While Heister and his colleagues seem content with giving back to the community, the city of Spokane is paying detention services $120,000 a year for these daily litter patrols. Cleanup crews are collecting an average 800 pounds of trash every day.
You've got some footage today of kind of what we find. Mattresses, pads, clothes, food, especially a lot of feces and urine and a lot of syringes.
Some guys on the cleanup crew have been homeless in the past, and so they're very careful not to haul away anything that appears to be someone's personal belongings.
Everyone looks out for each other down here, you know. They just don't steal from each other. They kind of look out for each other's stuff. So you like leave your bike out, you know, and not even have to lock it up.
The cleanup crews are a welcome sight for people camping under the interstate. Some of them, like Thomas, even bag up their garbage when they see the Geiger truck and trailer making the rounds.
We're trying, and I'm trying to get the message out there, and a lot of people are coming along with it, but we still have a few of the minorities that don't want to go along.
Thomas knows by creating hundreds of pounds of trash every day, people experiencing homelessness are making themselves a target for more enforcement. He thinks the transients making a mess are also making a statement.
They feel like they're disenfranchised, and that's their way of protesting, but it's the wrong way to do it.
Thomas also worries the growing litter problem will discourage drivers from offering up their spare change to transients, and Thomas resents efforts to redirect that money made by flying the sign to the agencies that can help the homeless.
No one should be able to tell you what to do. If $5 is not going to make a difference in your life one way or the other, if I gave you $5, but how do you know it's not going to make a difference in someone else's life? So don't let someone tell you what to do or how to make up your mind about giving, you know.
But city officials say the growing amount of garbage around town, including fast food wrappers and beer cans, is exactly why your generous handouts are bankrolling problems throughout the Spokane area. And Joseph Heister seems to know that better than anyone.
I do think that when you hand out money to a panhandler that you're just promoting some of the negative aspects of the homeless. There's got to be another answer. I don't know what that would be, though.
To me, the answer is that $5 in the hands of a trusted local organization that has experience working this population is going to go a lot further in terms of helping get that person off the street and giving them a hand up and out of poverty.
The tons of fractured basalt started hitting the ground after the city council decided it was time to dislodge homeless people camping underneath the interstate.
The back of our property has been used for people going to the bathroom.
Jim Redmond's business has a backdoor view of what's become the default hangout for dozens of people experiencing homelessness.
Our cars in our lots have been broken into. We've had windows broke. We've had customers harassed. Garbage every morning is everywhere.
The problem has gotten so bad this year, the city will spend $120,000 paying Geiger inmates to clean up after campers, folks who are shedding an average 800 pounds of garbage every day.
It builds up really fast. We've cleaned it up and seen it completely trashed in 24 hours.
And that's one reason why the city is now carpeting the camps with cobble, a hardcore attempt to make the ground so uncomfortable that no one wants to sit or sleep here.
The police can't keep up with it. I met with the chief last Friday, and he just said, Jim, we can keep chasing them out, but they're going to keep coming back. And ultimately, I'm hoping that this is something that's going to limit what's going on behind us.
But people who live on the street say that $150,000 in rock and landscaping could have been better spent on ending their cycle of homelessness, like covering the cost of first and last month's rent.
Give us more resources, because the first time if someone's been homeless for years and you're giving them an apartment, that's not going to end right there.
But city officials say since they're now paying the House of Charity to keep its doors open 24/7, these campers have a place to get out of the weather and shouldn't be parked under the interstate. And before this project got underway, the people who were about to lose a place they felt at least fairly comfortable were offered other options.
People need to feel comfortable to fail, to try new things, and to be open to the services when they're available to them. And so sometimes that's the first try, sometimes that's the 100th try, but we always want to be able to be there to help people in need.
They call it flying the sign, a way for people who find themselves in need to collect enough money to make it through another day living on Spokane streets. And now there's a new sign going up at some of our busier intersections, one that urges well-intentioned motorists to give real change.
Spokane is a compassionate city, and we're full of compassionate people who want to make a difference. And so what we're trying to do is to help them give to those agencies that are making changes that put people in the permanent housing and change their lives for the better.
The mayor and council direct more than $12 million a year toward homeless services and are continuing to increase that total, but more can be done. Donating money to the agencies that help people end their crisis of experiencing homelessness is as easy as calling 311. Those in need can help themselves by calling 211.
Eastern Washington 211, can I get your zip code, please?
211 is a one-call service to help people who find themselves in need so that they can access those things that can help get them off the streets and into housing.
These new signs urging drivers to give real change instead of giving to people on the curb will go up across the city in areas identified by police as panhandling hotspots. People flying the sign is now a citywide problem and a contributing force behind litter and crime problems in those areas. But Malahan doesn't blame people for wanting to help the homeless. 80% of them used to have homes in our neighborhoods.
We lost his job and then we lost our place, and it's been one thing after another.
Abby flies a sign on the lower South Hill while her 4-year-old daughter tries to keep herself entertained. Abby says without panhandling, it's hard to care for Kenzie.
There's a possibility we may have to find a place to sleep, or we may not have anything to eat other than the meals downtown.
So motorists face a tough choice when they're confronted with real homelessness, but city officials insist handing over money to individuals is not the best answer.
People in their desire to be compassionate and give to those who are suffering can sometimes fuel habits that don't help that individual. And so this is an option for people to give to agencies that they can be sure are going to spend those dollars to help people make positive changes.
How do you see the world?
At Shriners Hospitals for Children, we know that changing how you see things can turn them into
everyday miracles! Like riding my bike. Breaking boards. Hugging my mom.
Every day for over 90 years, Shriners Hospitals for Children has been sending love to the rescue, regardless of a family's ability to pay.
If you know a child we can help, call or go online now.
Every year, code enforcement, police, fire, health, and other government workers deal with a large number of problems stemming from foreclosed and abandoned homes. Problems such as crime, unkept yards, vandalism, trash, and dumping. And that's just to list a few. These government officials spend a lot of time struggling to find a responsible party to take action on these problems. They research mortgages on the property, call bank 1-800 numbers, and get passed around from bank to bank and from department to department. Meanwhile, citizens rightfully complain. Neighboring home values go down, and elected officials search for an answer. And unfortunately, nationwide mortgage foreclosure rates do not seem to be falling by much. In fact, in many states, foreclosures are on the rise. but there's a property registration solution that provides real relief. Introducing Pro Champs, a community champions property registration solution. It's being used in over 130 communities nationwide, and here's how it works. First, your municipality passes an ordinance which requires that foreclosing banks must register the properties upon notice of default on a property and provide information including names and contact info of the bank, servicers, property contact, and others, as well as pay a small registration fee. Sound difficult? ProChamps provides everything needed for this registration system. We do the research to identify these properties, contact the banks, and provide an interactive website where your staff can report problems as they arise directly to the responsible parties. But we aren't done yet. ProChamps has a team of community specialists who have your back. When you have a problem or report a code violation on a registered property, they act as your ambassador to the banks and contact the responsible parties to help ensure the problems get fixed. This program does not change how you normally enforce codes in your community, nor does it create an additional work for staff. We simply add the ProChamps team to partner with and empower you to take care of these problem properties. How much does this service cost? Well, ProChamps shares in those bank registration fees, with the majority of the money going straight back into your community and helping to recover the costs you are already spending on dealing with these properties. This means the program provides revenue for your community with zero out-of-pocket costs. So what are you waiting for? Head to our website, give us a call, schedule a free foreclosure assessment or online demo, and join the 130 plus communities who have already experienced the benefits of partnering with community champions and leveraging our ProChamps solution. Go to ProChamps.com or call us at 1-800-321-CODE and get started today.
After another great summer in Spokane, it's time to trade in those trunks for long pants and a sweater. As temperatures continue to drop, it's important to correctly winterize your pool or hot tub. Whether it's above or in ground, the water inside your pool needs to be disposed of properly. Pool water contains chemicals that, if drained into a storm drain, could harm the plants and wildlife in the Spokane River.
We want to make sure that the water that goes into the aquifer and down our storm drains is truly just storm water. Storm water is either rain or snow melt. So things that contain chemicals are not considered storm water, and so they shouldn't go down our storm drains.
Storm drains either drain into a dry well or directly into the Spokane River. In either case, the water is never treated. Your storm drain is a pipeline to the Spokane River, and it's vital to the health of the river that you drain your pool or hot tub properly.
You shouldn't ever drain your pool into the street or the storm drains. You should keep it on a landscaped area, maybe put sandbags around the side of your property to keep it off your neighbor's property.
And prior to draining, it's important to take these next steps to keep chemicals out of our aquifer.
Before you're planning on draining your pool, you should turn off your chlorination system. When it's raining outside, you wouldn't want to drain your pool, because that could flush it down to the streets and into the storm drains.
But it's not just pools and hot tubs that shouldn't get drained into the street or into storm drains.
As you can see, this water feature has quite a bit of water. So when it comes time to drain this water feature and get it prepared for winterization, we would want to make sure that when draining the water, we remember that this also contains chemicals that would be considered harmful or pollutants to stormwater. So we'd want to drain it into the grass and not into the street or the storm drains.
It's also important to remember that any unused and unwanted chemicals are considered hazardous waste and need to be disposed of in the hazardous waste area at one of the solid waste transfer stations or waste-to-energy facility. As a general rule, the only thing that should ever go down a storm drain is rain and snow melt. Anything else will harm the river and the wildlife that calls it home. For more information about stormwater, visit SpokaneWastewater.org.
Distracted walking can be pretty funny if you're watching it on YouTube. What isn't funny are the statistics. Since 2009, pedestrian fatalities and injuries have nearly quadrupled due to distracted walking. Distracted walkers take longer to cross the street and are more likely to ignore traffic signals. 40% of teen pedestrians have been injured or nearly injured, and that risk doubles when they're distracted by a mobile device. See the world around you. Don't walk into it.
It's Justin Harding's job to make sure you can find a place to park your car when you visit downtown Spokane. The problem is people who work downtown want those same convenient curbside parking spots as well.
We've noticed that by and large it's usually employees that work at the businesses. You know, they come out, they put a little time on it at lunchtime and try to get that through the rest of the day.
That's why the city of Spokane is trying to get perennial parkers to stop plugging meters. It's a hard sell, but downtown businesses are depending on daily commuters to free up some of those spaces.
If they have to circle the block 2 or 3 times to try to find adequate parking, you know, they sometimes do drift up north to one of the malls, or sometimes they'll shop online.
And that's why time is running out for workers who routinely plug meters. Parking enforcement officers are trying to wean people off their coin-dropping habit with warnings like this bookmark for drivers who stayed beyond their time limit.
As long as you're sharing the space and leaving at the appropriate time, it gives more opportunity for, you know, another citizen to pull in and use that same prime space.
So this summer, the city launched an educational campaign called Park Like a Pro, along with tips on finding more affordable long-term parking. Beginning in September, you might even find a friendly reminder, even if you still have time on your meter.
Our actual intent is just to ensure that with the limited amount of spaces that we have, a maximum amount of the citizenry can utilize and share the space.
These 2-hour restrictions don't sit well with people who think as long as there's time on their meter, their car is legally parked. But these windshield warnings will soon be replaced with real tickets beginning October 1st. The plugging prohibition comes at a time when the city is expanding the number of 12-hour meters. For a little less than $4, you can use your phone to buy a spot that's yours for the keeping all day long.
Hello again, I'm Spokane Mayor David Condon. Today on the Mayor's Minute, we're announcing a new $5 million federal grant that will extend our Fix-It Fest activities for the next 2 years. The grant will add 14.5 lane miles of grind and overlay work on Maple and Ash, Wellesley, Nevada, Mission, and Sprague during the 2018 and 2019 construction seasons. The project will be in addition to the maintenance work that will be completed by our city's streets department in those years. We announced Fix-It Fest in June as a way to use a variety of techniques to repair damage to the city's streets over the harsh winter season. The program included about 14 lane miles of work, most of which has already been completed. That includes improvements to Freya, Southeast Boulevard, Maxwell, 17th, Assembly, 4th, and a couple of stretches along Thor Freya, Sharp, and Sunset Boulevard. Work is still underway in a number of places, including along Garland, where we are today, Upriver, A Street, Addison, Nevada, and Broadway. A Good Street program includes both maintenance work and reconstruction. The voter-approved 2014 street levy has given the city greater flexibility to do both, and we're working to get the greatest value out of the dollars we spend on our streets. Thank you for your support and patience while we improve our streets. To stay current on important city activities, you can visit us online and follow the city on social media at Spokane City. We'll see you next time on the Mayor's Minute.
This summer, more than 450 kids went to camp in our local parks, and a lot of the camp counselors were actually Spokane police officers.
The Spokane Police Activities League really is focusing on building bridges between kids and police officers.
For 6 weeks, youngsters were coached by cops and other volunteers as they played basketball and other park-friendly sports. The kids learned core values like respect and honesty, and that they shouldn't fear police, but look at officers as someone they can trust.
I learned that if you ever see one, then you can always ask them for help, and you don't always have to be afraid if you see them.
The kids all graduated at this ceremony in Liberty Park, and that's where officials from the Spokane Public Library asked PAL participants if they'd like to spend the last 2 weeks of their summer vacation doing something smart.
After we have these children for 6 weeks in a PAL program, there's still some remainder of the summer left. So what better to do with that time than to introduce them to the library and everything it has to offer.
The program is called PAL After Park, and it's hosting kids at the Hilliard, Eastside, and downtown libraries.
We have 3D printing for the kids and a demonstration of that. We also have a sandbox where they can experiment with topography and how the mountains and the rivers form against each other when you build up the sand, which is really fun.
Slow-mo. PAL After Park is funded in part by proceeds from the mayor's Our Town Gala and Ball. David Condon feels exposing kids to the resources they can find in our public libraries will help broaden their horizons and boost their thirst for knowledge.
For kids, it's more than just a stack of books, and that's what really these kids are being exposed to as they finish up the Police Activities League inside our libraries and really connecting with those kids in a new and different way than just in our city parks.
And the best thing about our public libraries is no matter where you live in town, libraries and their staff offer equal access to information and entertainment.
So not only did it give these kids the opportunity to continue to do something more with their summer educationally, it's also given them an opportunity beyond the summer to see what does the library have to offer.
Thanks for watching Spokane Insight. If you'd like more information on the City of Spokane, please check us out on social media or on our website, SpokaneCity.org.